SuperRebel, I'm being bullied at school right now, and I told my parents, but did nothing. Now, welcome your lovely face back to another video. I want to stop it here for a second, because if you're new to the channel for like the last 10 months, you might not know what this is. Of course, you long-term rebels do know what this is. In a nutshell, basically, you guys always support me whenever I've had like kind of shitty moments, etc. And this is a series that I kicked off a while back, then stopped. But basically, I give you guys help with any issues that you have. If you have any life issues or kind of things you want advice on, drop it in the comment section below. And if you want it to stay private, just let me know as well, either through a Twitter message, an Instagram message, or through my YouTube inbox. Or if you of course don't want to stay private, just go ahead and drop it in the comment section below. But I'd really appreciate if you guys could drop a like on this video as well, just to kind of support the series and all you rebels that do need help. So going back to what you guys see in the background, so this dude who goes by the name LBW12 is being bullied at school. Do hope it has all been resolved, but if it hasn't, or if there's maybe some of you rebels that are watching this right now that you might be experiencing this or kind of like something along these lines, this is basically, you know, here to help you guys out. A lot of people do get bullied, kind of like through different year groups, etc. Myself, it did actually happen to me, and it kind of, well, to some extent has happened to a lot of YouTubers, and it all kind of varies. Sometimes in school, you know, when someone finds out you got a YouTube channel, etc., you get bullied, whatever, everyone just takes the mick, etc. Or sometimes it's like a whole different stage of bullying. They can bully you, you know, simply for the way you look, maybe for like the clothes you wear, maybe trainers, or just like your personal, like, or physical, should I say, looks, pretty much anything along those lines, and it is kind of shitty. So I want to say here, the key thing, right, is to try your hardest to basically not take any sort of an acknowledgement to it. And I guess, you know, where you're young, depending on your age, everyone kind of deals with it different. One thing I learned when I did experience it myself is that you're always afraid to tell someone, anyone at all. Maybe because you're scared of the person that's bullying you as a whole, or you simply don't want to tell anyone else because you kind of feel like they'll make it a bigger deal than it actually is. Even though it's actually a big deal, you kind of just feel like it's not something you want to share. Maybe you could feel embarrassed, or like I said, you just might feel like once the teachers get involved, everyone kind of knows, and you know, it's just embarrassing as a whole. But kind of another thing to let you guys know, it's something I didn't do. I actually didn't tell anyone, and surprisingly, I just kept my mouth shut and just wrote it out pretty much. And it was like super shitty, like really bad. But over the years, I've learned, and this is my personal advice to you, because you could tell parents and sometimes they'll be like, you know what, nothing's actually wrong, or maybe you're just taking it to heart, etc. And it's always going to be different from someone else's perspective that isn't really a teacher. I mean, put it this way, right? When I was getting bullied, we had like a head of year, and then we had like a guy below that, pretty much. And I remember one time, they go to the bully, you can punch him at break time and start laughing. And you know why? Because they simply didn't see it in that sort of manner. They didn't see it in like a bullying matter, etc, etc. And that does happen a lot nowadays, which is really bad. And I can relate to what you're saying, dude, because you might feel like no one's doing anything about it, but you gotta understand simply the reason why is because of their mindset. And it's something you can't really change, but my advice to you is to actually go to the teachers, always go to the teachers and genuinely sound the way it is. Don't try and make it not sound as bad as you might think it is. Make it sound exactly how it is. Don't be afraid of what everyone else has to think. Don't feel afraid of either being a grass, etc. And definitely do not be afraid of the other person. Fun fact, bullies as a whole, they don't get anywhere in life, okay? And you get bullied for a reason, because they either feel low in themselves and bullying you makes them feel like a bigger person, or two, maybe you are just a better person than them as a whole. Maybe you got something that they don't have that they would like, so they bully you, so you kind of like feel like them, basically, if you see what I mean. And it always is a known fact, those are basically, you know, the reasons why it does happen. But I do want to say, dude, try your best to not let this get to you, and definitely go to a teacher. But the one thing, if you're going to take anything from this sort of 5-minute speech, okay, never be afraid to say how it is. Never be afraid of anyone else's thoughts. Do what's best for you. Never be afraid, okay? So I wish you the best of luck, buddy. Now, moving on to the next one, it kind of falls into another one, pretty much what I just said. We got Dan who says, okay, so I skateboard and people always make fun of me for it. I don't know why, so what should I do? So that pretty much just nods up or falls into what I was just saying for the last comment. And kind of what I was saying about YouTube as well. Kind of similarities. Everyone has a hobby, whatever it is. Your hobby, of course, Dan, is skateboarding. I assume it's something you like. My hobby is playing games, making YouTube videos. Someone else's hobby might be bike riding, doing basketball, maybe doing swimming, or maybe going to the gym. There's always something, of course, that, you know, someone has more of a passion for than anything else. So people, you know, might make fun of you for doing what you like, but what you do, what you have a hobby for, what you have a passion for is something that makes you happy. Skateboarding, dude, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with anything you do as long as it's not illegal, of course. But pretty much don't care what anyone else has to say. Do what makes you happy. Don't fall into everyone else's trap and basically live to impress others, if that makes sense. Live to impress yourself and make yourself happy. So I hope that does help you out, Dan. And anyone else as well. Whether it's YouTube, skateboarding, like this situation, swimming, whatever it is, do what makes you happy. Don't care or don't give a crap what anyone else has to say about it, because it makes you happy. Okay, so we got Hamza who says, I'm very stressed out because of school. Help, please. So a lot of people do get stressed out from school, whether it's because of exams, maybe they're not performing in a certain class, etc, etc. Or maybe you have the peer pressure of simply doing well in school, so your parents don't get super pissed with you, right? Fun little fact. Me, myself, and one thing I've learned throughout my entire years in school, right? I mean, now I'm out of school, but back when I was in school, one thing I learned pretty much towards the end, here's like a couple of subjects I was really good at, and here's a couple of subjects that I weren't good at all. So the subjects I were good at was actually history, IT, and I'd pretty much say art, like to some extent, because it's something I enjoyed, right? So those were the three things I actually really enjoyed. Are all of them relevant to what I'm doing at all now in life? No, right? Fun little fact, I failed pretty much all my GCSEs. I mean, I didn't do good in maths, I didn't do good in English, even though I can speak English, it's my main language, but I mean, just, English is a weird one, right? Maths I've just always hated, never really enjoyed it. I mean, if it's something relevant, I will take interest in it, but learning Pythagoras theory and all that sort of stuff, it's really not my cup of tea, right? And so the moral of the story here is, don't really be stressed out because of school. I don't think it's ever good to be stressed out of anything like that, because going to my grades, I actually smashed history. Like, I got such a good grade in that subject, and that's not simply because I was trying for it, it's simply because I had an interest in it. And I think when you have an interest in something, you always give it your best, right? You always take a lot more interest in that compared to something else. So don't be stressed out because of school. Always find something you have an interest in, because in the future, dude, I'm not gonna really encourage this, but certain things that you learn in school aren't actually relevant. And that's me being completely honest. Nowadays, no one really gives a crap about grades. It's the experience you have, the knowledge, and that's really it. But once you have an interest in something, you always tend to smash it. So don't be stressed out. Alright, next one. How are babies made? Okay, so Kapil babies, you can pretty much, well, they get made through factories. You can pretty much go pick them up in your local store. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. I'm actually kind of promoting human trafficking here. That's not good at all. Let's just skip this one. My friends sometimes say that my fibbly wibbly is small, that I have a front butthole, brackets, a vagina. Okay. Well, there's a lot of penis jokes that go on when you are in school. You know what? As long as you know what it is, that's pretty much what it is. And as Amir says, the fuck are your friends looking at your penis for? Well, there's your answer to that one. Now, moving on to the final Rebel Resolve question of today's video and episode is by Jake, and he says, I talk to people online that I don't know, and I'm 10 years old and they're 16. We really enjoy playing with each other, but there's two issues, the age difference, and to some of my friends and family, it sounds like I talk to myself. What should I do? Now, What I'm about to say next might be a little bit crazy. It might just sound crazy simply because I'm a YouTuber. But pretty much the thing is, right, as you guys know, I have a little brother. Some of you guys know him as SuperRebel, but his name's Harris, and he's, well, I think 9 years old, okay? So not really a big difference from you, Jake. And the other day, fun little fact, I did actually catch him speaking to like this random dude on the PlayStation, right? And the dude sounded weird, and I of course did tell him to come off and like take your headset off, and like I just wanted to speak to him because sometimes you might think, right, that you know the person you're speaking to is super cool, etc. But there's a lot of weird people out there, and like I said, this might sound crazy simply because I'm a YouTuber and my job is pretty much to meet new people, etc. But when you're at a young age, you tend to be kind of vulnerable to older people, which is a bad thing. So speaking to an older person, I wouldn't say there's anything majorly wrong with that. I mean, if they're 16 and they're playing with a 10-year-old, there's a lot of reasons some people might criticize them. Maybe they don't have any friends or something along those lines. Maybe they get bullied. So never really take them to be a weirdo. Just be very careful when you are speaking to strangers. As for your family, they will tell you pretty much not to speak to strangers online. And your friends, well, when you put a freaking headset on, it kind of does sound like you're talking to yourself anyway. When I sit here making this video right now, it looks like I'm talking to myself. I mean, I technically am talking to myself. So yeah, like I'm probably in a weirder situation than you are, Jake, right now. But that's my advice for that one. So guys, that's gonna wrap up the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, if you have any issues, let me know in the comment section below. If you want to stay, or if you want to keep it private, then of course send me a Twitter DM, an Instagram DM, or of course let me know via my inbox on YouTube. But like I said, I really enjoy making these videos simply because you guys have, well, without a doubt, are always there for me when I'm having a shitty situation like the other week. You guys just always give me so much positive feedback, and me doing things like this, I just want to be there for you rebels as well, because we are, of course, as a whole, one big family. But guys, if you could drop a like on this video, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, it's gonna wrap it up. So I hope you guys have yourself the rest of an awesome Monday, and that's gonna wrap this up then. Until the next one, guys, adios amigos.